Hey guys, and welcome back to Mangotology. If you're new here and you're wondering who I am, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Steven Mango, and I'm an ex-Scientologist that works here on YouTube to expose Scientology. So if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, please make sure to go down below, hit that red subscribe button, as well as turn on your post notifications by hitting the bell so you get an alert whenever I release a new video exposing Scientology. So this video here today is part 2 of my Shelly Miscavige investigation that I've been doing. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I did a very detailed video where we looked at some possible information that you guys may not know involving David Miscavige possibly having an affair on Shelly Miscavige with his personal communicator, and that's why Shelly may have been sent to wherever she's been sent and being held against her will over the last dozen or so years. Now that video is posted on my channel. I'm also going to link it down below. It's part 1 of 2. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to watch this video second, but it does help kind of fill in the gaps over some other information that I found from a few years ago. I've been doing this because I really want to bring this to light. I want you guys to know what is going on and kind of piecing together about this story with Shelly and her disappearance, because it is very crucial given the lawsuit that I've also discussed on my channel that's just been filed by Valerie Haney against David Miscavige and Scientology, where Shelly may be getting deposed, which is what we're going to be talking about in this video. And we're also going to be looking at the complaint that was filed with some more information about Shelly, so you guys can actually see and hear and learn more about what is going on with Shelly. This information that I'm going to be telling you guys about today was in the court complaint, which was filed, and we're going to be reading the specific section on Shelly. Now, I mentioned this in my court video, but I need to make this a separate video, so as you guys are searching, if this is your first time finding me, I like to make sure that you guys don't have to watch a 30 or 45 minute video to get the information. I want to just present it to you guys here in a separate video, so if you guys are searching Shelly Miscavige on YouTube and come across this video, you don't miss any of this information, because I think it takes all of us together as a team to talk about Shelly, to put her name out there constantly, every single day, if it needs to be on social media, every couple weeks here on my YouTube channel. Whatever that I can do to bring public awareness, so you guys keep asking where's Shelly, and maybe Scientology is going to have to produce her if she's still alive. I think with this court case, what's going to be very interesting is the deposition. We're going to be talking about how Shelly may be able to get out of this deposition. Is she actually going to get deposed? Is she even alive to even be able to testify or to be able to be deposed or be under oath rather? So we're going to be talking about all of that today. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. Hello again, guys. So let's get right on into this court information so I can present this information to you and then we can discuss. When you guys are watching this, I'm actually going to be at VidCon in Anaheim. I mentioned that in yesterday's video. If any of you guys are happening to be at VidCon, send me a message on social media or drop an email. I want to meet up with you guys while I'm at the convention, since it's for online video creators and their fans. So if any of you guys want to hang out, talk about Scientology, have a cup of coffee type of thing, please let me know if you're in Anaheim over the next 2-3 days. It's July 11th to the 13th, so if you guys are there, just send me a message and I'd be happy to meet up with you guys. So let's talk about Shelly now and talk about this court case. Now, the court case video I'll also link down below. I'm sorry if you guys are repeat visitors to my channel, you guys already know and you have to listen to some of this fluff, but it's very important because I have an influx of new people who come across these videos that are recommended in their search history. So I want to make sure that you guys are caught up, because then I get emails and questions and people saying, well, what's this court case? What's it about? Valerie Haney, who is very close to David Miscavige, she actually worked as his personal steward. Same with Shelly Miscavige. It was her very close friend. She actually filed a lawsuit after escaping Gold Base. This is as of like a week or two, guys. This isn't old information. This is brand new as of the last 2 weeks. And after her escape, she filed this lawsuit against the church and David Miscavige, alleging kidnapping, abuse, all sorts of different things. It's a 50 to 60 page complaint. I link it on that video over on that channel if you guys want to read the full entire complaint of what she's suing for, what she's alleging. And it's actually very, very interesting, because this is someone who is tied very closely and directly with David Miscavige, the leader of the Church of Scientology. His wife is missing, Shelly Miscavige, and if you guys are, again, looking up videos and information, you'll see that I've done a whole series of videos. So if you want to kind of catch up and kind of work with us, you guys as my subscribers, and any of you new guys that want to try to help piece this together, that's my job here. And I really want to continue to ask the question, where's Shelly, until Scientology actually produces her and shows us that Shelly is okay, she's alive. And if she does get deposed, I'm really curious what she's going to be saying and what information is going to be on court record. So let me read to you guys what Valerie said about what actually happened between David Miscavige, Shelly, and what actually happened that led to her disappearance. So here we go.
Jane Doe worked in close proximity to defendant Miscavige on a daily basis for years, learning information about his private life and marriage, and becoming close with his wife, Shelly Miscavige. As a result of this, Jane Doe became more and more restricted from leaving Gold Base. Her interactions with others were limited by CSI and Miscavige due to her intimate knowledge of David Miscavige. In late summer 2005, Miscavige became increasingly hostile and verbally abusive towards his wife, Shelly Miscavige. Eventually, David Miscavige had Shelly removed from the main office as his secretary assistant in the Gold Base. Jane Doe, because of her connection to Shelly at the age of 26, was punished by being removed from her position as steward and forced into the Hole. The Hole is a set of double-wide trailers on Gold Base, where senior executives accused of ethics violations were held under strict surveillance. Jane Doe was forbidden from having any communication whatsoever with Shelly Miscavige. Jane Doe spent 3 months in the Hole, which is in essence solitary confinement, before being forced to do physical and manual labor. Individuals sent to the Hole were completely cut off from the outside world. Internet access and cell phones were banned, and identification such as passports were confiscated and kept under lock and key. Jane Doe could not come and go as she pleased at Gold Base, as exits were manned by guards. Approximately 6 months after being placed in the Hole, while performing hard labor, Jane Doe witnessed a dark color tinted vehicle pull up to the main building. Thereafter, unidentified men dragged Shelly Miscavige, who was crying and visibly distraught, out of the building and put her in the car. Shelly Miscavige has never been seen or heard from again.
Now, if you don't know about Valerie's story, again, I mentioned it a bit in the last video, but she was, again, working very closely with David Miscavige. And what I find is very interesting was she had to escape in the trunk of a car of an actor, and that's how she actually got out of Gold Base, because they film a lot of Scientology promotional videos there. It was their movie studio before they actually recently built it in Los Angeles, which was the old KCET studios, which is now transformed into Scientology's TV network where they film. I live very close to it, and it's very spooky because I drive by it every single day, and there's always guards on different corners of the street. And this is brand new as of the last like 3 years, I would say, maybe, that it's been open. And before they opened this, all their videos were shot out in the desert, and that's their Gold International base. The one here, which has just been recently developed as Scientology's TV network, like I just said, whenever you drive by the street, there's guards there just standing there, and they stare at your car as you drive by. And it's just very crazy how tightly they are monitoring their Scientology television studio, which I just think is a kind of an interesting point. But with their Gold Base out in the desert where Valerie was and Shelly and everyone at that time, I also think it's very interesting that when Shelly started having issues with David Miscavige with their relationship, he started having a closer relationship with his personal communicator. And that is when Valerie started getting more restricted, from how it sounds, from being able to leave Gold Base to do any sort of errands or chores, or being able to leave the base just for other sort of reasons. Her access was limited to the point where he would not allow her to route out of the Sea Org and actually leave. She had to physically escape in a car trunk, guys, in order to be able to come out into the outside world. Now, she filed this complaint, like I said, and it is 50 to 60 pages, and it's alleging a lot of really horrible and damaging things about Scientology, to where I think it could actually really come into play with their tax exemption, because if this is court record and there's different depositions and other people have to speak up and against David Miscavige, or actually come on record, Mr. Miscavige, and say, yes, I was aware of the abuses that happened under my watch or by my hands themselves. And Shelly, if she is alive and well and able to testify or speak on record and say, yes, this is what actually happened to Valerie. Think of if any sort of complaint gets filed with the IRS perhaps, or just in general with the FBI, like getting all these different court records and things just on the record. Because as I've also said, I don't believe this is for a quick payout, because if she was looking for a quick payout, they wouldn't demand a jury trial. Right in the complaint, it says jury trial demanded. So I think that this is more of a lawsuit where they're trying to get answers. They're trying to get these guys on record and deposed. Because what happened with Marty Rathbun and his wife, Monique's lawsuit, she was winning that lawsuit. She was right at the point where David Miscavige was going to have to be deposed, and that's when all of a sudden they got supposedly a settlement check for several $1,000,000, and then all of a sudden Marty's making videos in favor of Scientology and speaking out against all the ex-Scientologists, and he didn't pay his lawyers any sort of cut of the fee. He just kind of stiffed them and went back into standing with Scientology. So I think that, yeah, I mean, she could take a settlement check, but if she does, then nothing could be done about these abuses. And I don't think she's looking for a payday, guys. I think this is honestly someone who is trying to seek justice. There's more lawsuits coming from others. I don't want to speculate who they may be just because it hasn't been released yet, but I think I know of 2 or 3 names of others who have been alleging a lot of different crimes that, you know, could land David Miscavige behind bars if it was a criminal issue. But we have to see on that in terms of if they're going to be taking settlements. Like I've also speculated, I don't think that they're going to offer settlements of multi-million dollars to all these different people who are filing claims, just because knowing that there's a stack of all these different lawsuits that are going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. If they offer $2 million to her, then $2 million to him, and $5 million to this guy and that guy, they're not going to be able to continue on with that pattern, and more people, maybe even myself, might come out with a lawsuit against Scientology. And it's the sort of thing where Scientology is a system, guys. Everyone goes through the same system. It's not like, oh, you're at Battle Creek org. It's different than Celebrity Center or Flag. Everyone goes through the same thing. You start at this point on the bridge and you do this level and this level and this grade, and you go clear and you go OT, and you have to do certain books, and you have to donate certain amounts. You have to become a patron in order to become clear, and then you have to go higher up in the IAS. You have to train as an auditor. This doesn't mean that because, like, if you're in Boston, your situation in Scientology is different. Yes, there's deeper levels of mind control when you're in the Sea Org versus when you're on staff versus when you're public, but we're all experiencing the same works of Scientology. You have to go on course 2.5 hours a day minimum, or you're going to ethics if you even show up a minute late. So Scientology is a very curated system that isn't fluctuating or any different because you're at one level of Scientology versus another. I've experienced different abuses than someone else, but it's all basically the same type of thing because Scientology is run by a certain management program of L. Ron Hubbard. It's managed by certain HCO policy letters. It's managed by L. Ron Hubbard's works in general, right? So it's not different because you have to follow Scientology policies to a T. There's no variating, there's no skewing right when you should be going left. You're following Scientology by a guidebook. Now, in terms of Shelly being deposed, is Shelly going to actually be called? Now, many people are saying that Shelly's going to be deposed, obviously, because it's involving her as the wife of Scientology's leader. She was a close friend, Valerie, to Shelly. And I think that since Valerie is the personal assistant to Leah Remini, maybe Leah has some sort of involvement or encouraged her to file the lawsuit. I don't know. I'm just speculating here on that because they're all about seeking justice, someone like Leah. And I don't think this Valerie needs a payday necessarily. She works for Leah as a personal assistant, and I think this Valerie is doing this for the betterment of all of us who have left Scientology, all of us who are watchers and critics and want to see Scientology get taken down. And she may have the power to do so given her intimate connections with the Miscaviges. And this whole thing could unravel because this is such a pivotal lawsuit. Now, Shelly would have to be answering questions under oath. Now, Scientologists are trained that they can sue, slander, lie, do anything in order to protect Scientology as part of fair game. Obviously, Shelly is still in good standing. If she's in Scientology to some degree, she's not declared. She might be on some sort of program for being punished, but she's still in Scientology. So she would still be viewing Valerie as an enemy, that Valerie left and escaped and was on a television show about Scientology. So of course, Shelly's going to feel that Valerie's like a traitor. So if she has to lie, and they're probably working on all this now to prepare how to get her out of the deposition, which we're going to explain how that could possibly happen. But for Shelly, she would have to work with Miscavige, her husband, you know, or other Scientology executives are going to be training her, saying, we have to protect Scientology because Scientology is the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity. So yeah, you could tell the truth and say that Miscavige slapped Valerie across the face every night. Is that going to be good PR for Scientology? No, because it's all about Scientology's image. So they're going to say to her, you can't tell the truth, or you have to tell a half-truth, or something where you're not affecting the standing of Scientology in any way. It's better to lie, and it's better to commit perjury if that's what it comes to, because we can't lose the tax exemption. Scientology is a religious group that we need to maintain for the next hundreds of millions of years, and this is a pivotal moment. So yeah, you could say something in the deposition that could affect all of this for history. Scientology could be shut down or just classified as a business, and then they're not going to have a Sea Org, and they're not going to be able to have their labor, and then more lawsuits are going to get filed because they're a business. The FBI might step in, David Miscavige might be going to jail, and it would turn into a whole entire thing. So do you think that Shelly's going to be honest? No, of course not, in my opinion. Let's put it like that. I don't think she would ever say anything critical about her husband. Maybe, you know, if she ever escaped, that's a whole nother story, but I think she's under such close lock and key that they would never be able to have her get deposed. Now, she would have to get served. We know that she may possibly be at the CST Mountain headquarters. I don't know how they would actually go about serving Shelly in order to be able to be called for deposition, a subpoena, or however it would actually be. I don't know how they would do that. They would have to go to CST Mountain headquarters. But again, if she's locked away and there's guards at the front gate, what are they going to do? I mean, maybe they would leave the papers with a guard and say that that's the person that they're serving as like a registered agent of Shelly or on behalf of her if they're not able to reach her. I don't know how that would actually work out. I asked my husband, though, who is an attorney who's come on my channel several times. He also comes on my Mango Tea channel, and these are the reasons he said that Shelly could get out of the deposition if they were so trying to. He said 1, too sick, incompetent, number 2, 3, dead, 4, institutionalized, and 5, in a foreign country. So speaking of the foreign country, I mentioned this in yesterday's video. I said if they got rid of Shelly and brought her to a foreign country, that's another way that they could, now that I'm thinking of it, that makes sense to avoid the deposition. They could send her to Australia. They could get a private jet, fly her right out, send her to Australia org, and there's an advanced org there, and they hold her there, and she's either there right now at one of these sort of foreign country orgs, you know, she's in Europe or something, and she's at some org, and she's not under the watchful eyes of people in America. Because that's really, I think, where a lot of the critics are originating. And of course in Los Angeles, with all the ex-Scientologists here and all the Scientologists as well, I don't think Shelly could wander in LA or anywhere in California. I think that they would have to send her to some sort of foreign country that has a Scientology org. So she's in that foreign country, then again she can kind of hide and avoid deposition. With her being institutionalized, I don't think that's obviously a possibility. My husband's just giving like what would be like the qualifying ways that someone could get out of the deposition. Because again, Scientology doesn't believe in mental health. They don't believe in that sort of system. If she's institutionalized, I think that we would kind of maybe know, or there'd be some sort of trace of that. So I don't think that she's institutionalized. Dead. Now, like I've said, for 5, 6 years, I think Shelly's possibly dead. I think that if Scientology was on their game with this, they would have Shelly on video, or they would have brought her out to a Scientology event or something over the years, because she wasn't someone to hide. Shelly was always dressed up, and she'd go to the Scientology events at Celebrity Center or wherever, and she was seen obviously, because David Miscavige would be at these events. The New Year's Eve event, he speaks live at the New Year's event every year. Or on the ship for Maiden Voyage. He always does the Maiden Voyage event, right? So why wouldn't Miscavige have his wife there? Of course, but she's missing or sent away or something happened. Remember, they said to Leah, you don't have the effing rank to ask about Shelly, meaning she's not high enough in the organization or has a position of power to know. So something must have happened to Shelly where they can't even let someone of a lesser level ask about her whereabouts, because again, it would be something that they would have to know that that person's trained in case of law enforcement, government, or anything happens, that this person wouldn't spill the beans and say that they know that she's been killed, whatever. They need someone who is ride or die for Scientology, if that makes any sense. Ride or die, meaning you're willing to do anything to protect Scientology at all costs. So even if you know that she's dead, even if you're, you know, in court or FBI, whatever, you're willing to cover up her death to any sort of capacity. That's what I think. I mean, no one's been able to come forward and say anything in the last couple of years about her whereabouts, really. I mean, I think this is revealing, guys, about this court complaint that, you know, she went missing and has never been seen again. And I think that there's a lot of unanswered questions that this lawsuit and a deposition could possibly provide if she's willing to be under oath and be truthful and share information. If she's so able to even speak, she may be completely lost her mind and is unable to answer questions in deposition. Incompetent, so that's where that would come in. Maybe she's so traumatized with post-traumatic stress disorder, or she's unable to even open her mouth or form words or speak English, or like she might be completely so caved in where she's mentally ill, where she's, I can see like kind of like in like the fetal position, you know, just rocking back and forth and like tremoring all day long and just like being force-fed food or water because of what she's been exposed to in Scientology. They may be able to have some sort of mental evaluation, even though they're so against that, to say Shelly's incompetent and she's unable to be deposed or speak or say anything, and she's too much of a, I don't know what the word would be, but she would be so, I guess, incompetent. She would be so almost brain dead in a way. Maybe she's injured or something happened to her where she's unable to speak. So I think that's also a real possibility. Or she's too sick. Maybe she had a terminal disease that she developed, or something happened, or maybe there's some sort of physical condition or mental condition. I don't know. I think the too sick and the incompetent is kind of playing together. I would again ask my husband to come on this channel hopefully in the next couple weeks to answer your questions. Leave them down below for my husband, who's a legal expert who can kind of go into this a little bit more. This isn't his specialty, guys, but it's something that we may be able to get some more answers to. I just think that these are 5 very real possibilities of Shelly avoiding deposition. Same with David Miscavige, same with him. He could use any one of these things. He could leave and flee the country. Look at L. Ron Hubbard, it wasn't past him. That's why the ship existed. He went on to the sea because he was evading from being brought behind bars, from being questioned, from being forced to shut down Scientology as we know it. I mean, he went on sea with his very close confidants, and he formed the sea organization, and eventually they formed the Flag Land Base, which is the land version of the ship. And the ship is still where you're able to do upper level Scientology processes. It's on the sea, and that's where they deliver OT8. But back in the day, 40, 50, I don't know how many years ago it's been now, but L. Ron Hubbard was on ship, and he was again avoiding the government. He was avoiding prosecutions. I really do think that that is very real for Miscavige to maybe not even be around right now in the country. I don't know where David Miscavige is to say. I mean, they have his offices on Hollywood Boulevard, but I really do think that if and when time gets to it, he may start all of a sudden be seen in these various foreign countries doing Ideal Org openings, or he's at some other org in a foreign country for some sort of research, or I don't know, guys. Maybe he goes to Saint Hill Manor, which is where L. Ron Hubbard lived in the UK, and he's gonna go and maybe set up shop at Saint Hill, so he's not going to be able to have to be in America. So I really think that that's what's going to happen. Miscavige is going to go to Saint Hill, mark my words, maybe one of these other sort of orgs, they're going to tell him it's too dangerous, you're risking our tax exemption or whatever, Miscavige, you have to go and be shipped off to one of these foreign countries. Shelly's maybe already at one, or maybe Shelly's so well hidden or she's 6 feet under, we don't know. With Miscavige, I don't think he's going to be able to pull the too sick card, the incompetence card. I don't think he's going to be able to pull what Shelly's going to be able to, because again, if Shelly's been missing for all those years, Shelly's going to have a different condition she's going to be able to say. With David Miscavige, I really think that he's going to flee the country, but I'm really curious to hear what you guys think on your opinion on this. Do you think that they are going to get deposed and sit and be truthful for an honest deposition? What do you guys think about this court case? I think that Valerie is so brave to file this claim against the church, and yeah, it may be 5, 10, 15 years down the road, guys, this is going to be something where Scientology is going to delay, file this kind of motion, strike out this, it has to go to another form of court, and another type of government is going to oversee it. But I do think that it's going to be years and years down the road, but this thing could really blow the lid off of Scientology. The FBI works on investigations, I'm sure, on Scientology, or at least collects information. There's going to be lawsuits that are coming out such as this. This isn't the only one. And I think that in the next 10 to 20 years, we may not even have Scientology around as a tax-exempt organization. And look at other France, other places that have deemed it a fraud and a criminal cult. So that's what I think, guys, on this matter. So this was part 2 of my video. Go check out part 1 if you haven't already, or the other court video if you want more detailed explanation for what I've been talking about. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. As you know, I'm pre-filming this, but I'm at VidCon right now for when this is posted, so I won't have any other updates probably for another 4 or 5 days, just so you guys know where I am. And if you guys, again, have any questions for my husband as an attorney, I'm going to ask him to come on and answer questions about the court case. Leave it down below, and just let me know your general thoughts as well. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're clicking that red subscribe button and turning on your post notifications so you get alerted whenever I release new videos, so you guys stay up to date on all the latest on Scientology. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.